This is the Nutritional News Network Thanksgiving edition. I'm Brian Budd. Today we're going to be talking about a couple things, and it's going to be a kind of a short podcast, so I kind of want to go over a couple things with you. So number one, I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and a healthy holiday. Not to eat too much, but I know that we all fall into that trap. So a couple things I kind of want to talk about today. Number one, I want to talk about the feeling of what happens during the holidays when it regards to eating and the ways you can counteract that, because I've been in that problem before, and I can kind of explain that I've had issues with weight all my life. I was 465 pounds at one time. I went all the way down to 225 pounds. I quit smoking in 2014, and then I gained about 70 pounds back. Now I'm on the path of losing weight, about 20 pounds so far, but it's still a struggle, especially as you get older. I just turned 41 this year, so I'm trying to take care of my health better so that way I can give you the stuff that I've learned in the past and also go through the behaviors that cause weight gain in these network news articles, and we're going to cover more of those. But these are type of more personal opinions and stories, so just kind of want to go over this really quick with you and just tell you that right now with what's going on in the world, Thanksgiving is a time for happiness, but a lot of people that are in families are struggling with strife and not such goodwill. So, my thing is that I understand that people do a lot of stress eating during the holidays, or they can't control themselves. They look for comfort food because they look for stuff that increases dopamine and serotonin and all that stuff, which is normal. I mean, that does happen. But I will say this, the thing with overeating, it does have a effect on you. It did have an effect on me. You feel guilty later on. So what is it that's eating you instead of what you're eating? A lot of people eat because it feels good. It's that sense of comfort. And when you receive goodies from, let's say, your mom or your dad or your significant other or a friend, those release feel-good hormones and chemicals like oxytocin, which is the love chemical. Which is the same thing when you're in an intimate situation with a significant other. That's the same thing. So a lot of people tend to go towards food because it does produce an oxytocin type level, especially if you're trying to use it to self-soothe. Self-soothing is actually a part of being an adult. However, a lot of people use it in the wrong way. What they'll do is they'll use alcohol or drugs or food or any type of facsimile thereof to actually go ahead and cover that up. And we're all guilty of it at some extent. Some people have a chronic disorder, and some people aren't that bad. But just kind of going over this and really just taking a look down deep. So my tips for a great Thanksgiving feast is, number one, drink plenty of water. Stay away from the colas and stay away from the alcohol. If you do have alcohol, limit it to probably 1 or 2 drinks. Don't get sloshed, and don't drive, by the way. That's very, very, very bad. I don't like it. I was going to get Officer Bear on the screen. But anyways, but that being said, drinking a lot of water is good because water helps hydrate you. When you're hydrated, your body actually feels better. It feels like it's satiated. The old rule of thumb is, remember in the Bible, that actually you can live without food for 40 days. But water, you need within 3 days, or you actually go into some serious problems. Your organs start to shut down, and you can become deceased. So that's not good. So obviously staying hydrated, and that's number one. Number two, maybe even take a fiber supplement when you know you're going to multiple meetings. I know it seems kind of counterintuitive, but if you do that, that'll actually help you not eat as much because it'll, especially a soluble type fiber, even a cheap fiber gummy would help with, just getting that down to where you're okay, you don't eat as much, but even if you do, it's okay. Most important thing to do is keep moving, because moving is very important for the body. Body needs movement, and without that movement, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Stuff stagnates, and of course, that's how people get sick, because your lymph system is like a drain. And when you do not move, it doesn't have a pressure system. And guess what happens? It stays stagnant. Bacteria, viruses can easily creep in. That's why people that exercise regularly, regardless of weight, never get sick, because they actually are moving their lymph system. Now, if they're excessively exercising, which is unhealthy, then that's not a good thing either, obviously. You don't want that. So that being said, just basically have fun and have a happy Thanksgiving. A couple things I want to talk about when it comes to fat and sugar. When you're eating meals, you want to stay away from the sugar so much. Fat and protein's actually not that bad. Like turkey, green bean casserole's okay. As long as there's no added sugar, kind of stay strong on the stuffing, because stuffing has a lot of carbohydrates, but it's okay if it's one day. And you can make your day a cheat day if you want to, if you're good the rest of the week, but a lot of people can't do that. I know I'm kind of hard with that, because then I just make it a cheat week, which then it turns into a cheat year, a cheat month, and a cheat decade, which you don't want to cheat that, because when you cheat for a decade, you end up not being able to do what you need to do, because you can't even get up without being out of breath. So bottom line is that with this type of thing, it's always good to have a plan in place. So that's important. So there is a study I do want to go over that's very interesting, but kind of comical, because some of these studies are so common sense. It's kind of like, if you reduce caloric intake, you will lose weight. If you get out of a stressful situation, cortisol levels lower. Well, duh. Here's one from the Journal of Nutrition. It basically states, increase of sugar and alcohol during the holidays increases liver fat. I mean, yeah, but there is a one-shot cure to that, that's consistent exercise. If you keep your liver running like a car engine, that's what your liver is. If you take it out for a drive and you keep driving it every day consistently, your car's going to have clean 93 octane. And if you drive it like once a week, it'll have 86 octane. It's going to have some clinks and clanks, and you're kind of going to be crabby. You're going to kind of be lethargic. The funny part is, the more movement you have, the more energy you have, because energy begets energy. That's called ATP, or adenine triphosphate. Those are your basically energy reserves that you can use on demand to flee a predator, or to flee a mad wife or husband. I'm just joking. But anyways, seriously though, so that is important to, obviously, with liver fat. Liver is very important for functioning and filtering the toxins out of the blood. Liver is now become the #1 cause of a liver disease, or fatty liver disease, is not from alcohol anymore. It's actually from obesity. So it's very important to get rid of the obesity, and that study was done by the Journal of Nutrition, published in April of 2019, but it was just released on their one docket and their one issue in November of this year. So, obviously they had another study, I think a while ago, about the cyclists doing 3 weeks of cycling. Regardless of their diet, they lost 20% of their liver fat. So it's not a death knell, but at the same time, you have to realize the issues. You have to keep moving. So that's important. Okay, so a couple other things here. They've shown that yoga and stretching has actually increased of GABA levels, along with a good probiotic. And this is a study from Journal of Nutrition as well in 2017. This one is actually very important, because stretching actually releases tension in the body. People don't realize this, but tension is kept through, of course, your psoas muscle, which is the muscle in between your hips and the lower part, and connects to your higher part, which is your torso and everything. And what I tell people all the time is, with this type of muscle, is to stretch. And I've noticed a few days if I don't stretch, and I stretch, sometimes I do yoga, sometimes I stretch for about 45 minutes to an hour and a half at night. And people say, how do you do that? Well, I get things done. I look for jobs. I, watch a show, whatever. I'm keeping up to date on stuff. I can do that because I have a smartphone, and I can multitask with that. I can put that on the TV and do this and do that while I'm doing it. But stretching is important for getting rid of the stress, and I think more people would love that if they can get stress out of their life. They still have to address the issues, which is very important. So our next episode is going to be on this weekend sometime. I don't have a definite date on there, but this is a Thanksgiving special. And I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to all you lovely people, and to have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. and I will see you soon. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This show or products that are appearing on this show is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Natural News Network. All rights reserved. Copyright 2019.